Friends. It's Reverend Laurie with Unity of Ocala on this beautiful summer Friday, the 18th. The lesson today in Simple Abundance is choosing to bloom. I've been giving this a lot of thought. I read it early this morning, and I've just been taking that in, choosing to bloom. Do flowers choose to bloom? I don't know. Choosing to bloom. Anais Nin is quoted in here with this beautiful, short, lifetime message. She writes, "And the day came when the risk it took to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to bloom." Blooming's a risk. Sometimes, especially if we let part of a lifetime go by us, we forget the flowers in us that we haven't allowed to bloom. For whatever reason, we always have excuses. Too tired to bloom today. Yeah, I'll be my brightest self when, I'll come fully alive and do that which is truly mine to do when all the cards line up. Cards are all lined up all the time. Choosing to bloom. You know, I've taken this whole experience that the earth children have gone through these past 2-3 years and how we're choosing what and how to bloom. And I'm seeing a lot of weeds of flowers that just don't know they're flowers, blooming in ways that are destructive, harmful, that's showing the underbelly of the ego human. And I read Charles and Myrtle and some of my great teachers as a leader in a spiritual community. What is mine to do? How shall I bloom based on the teachings that I so love, the lifestyle that nurtures me, my own religion, which is unity, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Native American, Native Indigenous, a little bit of Hindu, a little bit of agnostic, a little bit of scientist. That's my religion. So I read these great mentors, and there's something about each of them when faced with hard times, because they all are. Planet Earth is boot camp for the human consciousness, right? Boot camp. Just when we get to the top of that cliff, that's ministerial school graduation ordination, we get sent to boot camp again and again and again. Yeah, Earth is just a continual boot camp, so get used to it. I'm choosing to bloom in the camp, to bloom in the mud pits, to bloom in the, as my son had to experience, the dug out ditches that he had his troops sleep in because the palaces were targets when he was in Iraq. So we bloom in the ditches, we bloom in the mud, we bloom in the basements, we bloom in the closet, we continue to bloom. What does that look like in your life? Charles and Myrtle lived through 2 wars, Depression, the Great Depression, the movement of the Underground Railroad. They assisted with that. And I think they bloomed, because to read their work, to experience their teachings in a visceral way, you would not even know these things were going on. There would be a mention of it here and there, but only a reference to it. Not a here we are in the middle of this tragedy. No, they were too busy blooming, birthing new ministries, growing. They started Temple on the Square in Kansas City when the Depression hit. Let's not pray that the money holds out. Let's strengthen our faith that we have everything we need. Bloom, bloom, bloom. I didn't plant a garden this year. I had a full intention to, but just never did. So I must not have had a really full intention to. So I've noticed some of the things are coming back. I've got a carrot top, bright green bush. It's growing up through my brick patio. It will never come through. There it is. If I could take my computer out there, I'd show you. And those leaves are like this tall now, and it's under these bricks. Maybe it'll break through the brick. I'm leaving it alone to see what it wants to do because it's on a journey to bloom. My sweet potatoes are back, and I can see one of the banana trees that's trying to come back is trembling. I see it trembling because it chose to bloom again, to be bold, not thinking the sweet potatoes would come back. I didn't think they would either. I don't know how they are. Yep, they're coming back. They're blooming. So how shall I bloom? We're going to talk about that more on Sunday. How shall we bloom in this time of turbulence? And we must, because we're shifting it. We're part of the shakeup. We're part of the shakeup, the movement, the rising of the consciousness. We are the ones we've been waiting for. The Talmud, the Jewish tradition's expository on the Torah, tells us that each blade of grass has an angel whispering, bends over and whispers to each blade of grass, grow, bloom, bloom. So I am whispering to you, bloom, bloom, just bloom. I love you. God loves you. I will see you on Sunday. Have a fabulous weekend. Begin blooming.